This is a guide on replacing an LCD on an Apple MacBook Pro 17-inch. For the replacement process, we'll need the following tools: heat gun or a hairdryer, small pentalobe screwdriver, small phillips screwdriver, plastic picks, and tweezers. To begin, press and hold the power button to turn the laptop off. Make sure that the laptop is not accidentally powered on during the reinstallation process. Proceed on removing the aluminium bezel. Use a heat gun to warm up the glue, which holds the bezel in place. Go around the perimeter, applying heat evenly. Do not apply heat in one place for too long. Use your finger to tell when the surface has warmed up well enough. It must be warm to the touch, but not burning hot. Start separation in the top left corner. Insert a pick between the aluminium bezel and the rubber gasket. Gently slide the plastic pick to the right up to the eyesight camera. Insert a plastic separator to keep the bezel from sticking back. Skip the area near the eyesight camera. Continue opening the bezel, moving towards the top right corner. Reapply some heat to keep the glue warm. Separate the right side of the bezel, then the left side. Apply some heat on the bottom edge. Gently pull the bezel away from the bottom edge. Try not to bend the bezel more than it is necessary for the separation. Take it aside and place it on a flat surface. The LCD screen is held in place by 4 screws, 2 at the top and 2 more at the bottom. In order to remove 2 bottom screws, we need to separate the entire display assembly from the main body. Close the laptop and turn it over to get access to the bottom panel. The bottom panel is held in place by 10 screws. The first 3 screws near the hinges are longer than the other 7. Remove the screws using a Phillips screwdriver. To open the back cover, pick it up at the hinge side and lift it while holding the main body. Put the bottom cover aside. In order to disconnect the display assembly, we have to disconnect all the cables routed onto it, namely the video cable, the eyesight camera cable, flat ribbon cable with connectors on both sides, and 3 Wi-Fi cables. First, disconnect the video cable. Open the connectors bracket, then using both hands, slide the video connector out. Next, disconnect the flat ribbon cable. Use a flat tool to pick open the first connector, then gently pull out the second connector. Using a flat screwdriver, open the 3 connectors for the Wi-Fi cables. Disconnect the eyesight camera cable. Using both hands, slide the connector out. Carefully pull the cable out of its channel. Remove the Wi-Fi cables from their channels. The next step is to remove wireless network card, which is held in place with 2 screws. Remove the screws, put the card aside. Remove the Phillips screw from the right cable guide. The Wi-Fi cables are attached to it for grounding. Set the cable guide aside. It is important to keep track of all the screws that we are removing. Move on to the left cable guide, which is held in place with 3 screws. Remove the first screw and the cable bracket. Then the second screw, which serves as a tension point for the cable. The third screw is under the video cable. Pull away the cable to get access to the last screw. Remove the screw. Set the cable guide aside. At this point, we can access the hinge screws. The hinges are held in place with Torx screws. Open the laptop at a 90-degree angle and hang it upside down off the table with the display assembly coming down. Remove the Torx screws from the hinges, 3 on each side. Lift the display assembly, minding the cables on the sides, and place it on the desk. The next step is to remove plastic hinge cover. Slide the cover to the right, unlocking the tabs, and gently lift it up. Set the hinge cover aside. At this point, we can remove the hinges. Each hinge is mounted with 3 Torx screws. There are 2 screws on the bottom and 1 screw on the opposite side. Remove the 4 bottom screws, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Turn the display assembly over and remove the Torx screws on the opposite side. Set the left and the right hinges aside. Next, we have to remove the 2 bottom LCD screws, which are covered with a rubber gasket. Roll the rubber gasket away and remove the 2 Phillips screws. Remove the 2 screws on the top of the LCD screen. Pull the LCD screen out of the back cover. It is very important to guide the video cable while lifting the LCD. Be patient. Feed through enough cable to be able to position the LCD screen perpendicular to the back cover. Lay the LCD with the face down. Use a flat screwdriver to open the video connector bracket. Disconnect the video cable and set the old screen aside. At this point, we can install the new LCD screen. Our screen doesn't have any protective film, so we are going to put some bubble wrap on the back cover to protect the screen from scratching. Place the new LCD screen perpendicular to the back cover and align it with the video cable. Reconnect the video cable and close the connector's bracket. Use a flat screwdriver to make sure that the bracket was locked properly and tucked under the plastic shield of the LCD. Flip the LCD panel and carefully turn it aligning with the back cover. Mind the video cable, feed it through the hole in the back cover. Make sure that the bottom mounting points are inserted in the slots. Replace 2 bottom mounting screws under the rubber gasket, then 2 screws at the top. The next step is to reinstall the hinges. Align the left hinge with the holes and replace the 2 bottom screws. Replace the other screw from the top. Repeat the same actions for the right hinge, but mind the cables, which should go over the upper side of the hinge. Make sure that the video cable also lay over the left hinge and replace the hinge cover. Align it half an inch offset to the right and then slide to the left, making sure that all the tabs are locked and the hinge cover is centered. Move the laptop body to the side of the table and align the display assembly to the mounting holes. Replace the hinge screws. Do not tighten the screws all the way, as we still need to align the top cover with the main body. Close the laptop and place it on the table. Align the top cover with the body and tighten the hinge screws. Slightly pull the video cable away and replace the left cable guide. Replace the left and the middle Phillips screws. Make sure that the middle screw goes through the cable tensioning point. Replace the video cable clamp. Replace the right cable guide. Secure it with right screw, making sure that cable's grounding point is included. Then replace the left screw. Next, replace the wireless network card. Align it with the holes and secure it with the 2 Phillips screws. Guide the iSight camera cable into its channel and reconnect it to the motherboard. Reposition the Wi-Fi cables into the corresponding channels. The cables are of different lengths, so it's easy to choose the right channel for each one. Plug in each connector into the network card. Reconnect the flat ribbon cable, align the connectors properly, and gently plug them. Reconnect the video cable, slide the video cable into the connector, and close the connector bracket. Caution: it is very important not to force any of the connectors. All connectors are very fragile. At this point, we can replace the back cover. Press in the middle of the cover to snap in the tabs. Replace the 3 long screws near the hinges, start from the left bottom corner. Then replace 7 smaller screws. Now we can test the screen. Flip the laptop over and turn it on. If the startup graphic appears, the screen is installed correctly and we can finish the reinstallation process. Press and hold the power button to cancel the boot up. Remove any protective film if present. At this point, we can replace the aluminium bezel. Align the bezel at the bottom edge and glue it back, pressing around the perimeter. Make sure that the bezel fits under the rubber gasket. Apply some heat to reactivate the glue. Turn the laptop on, and you're done.